what's up? It's Joe Ready from Ready's Rides. I'm back here at Dick Norris Buick GMC, sunny Palm Harbor, Florida, and we have another all-new 2019 GMC Sierra. Now this one is different than the Denali that we've already featured, and I'll put that at the end of the video if you haven't seen that review of the Denali. This one is the GMC Sierra Elevation. And that's the one thing that I find really cool and interesting about the truck segment now. It's almost like the muscle car days. And what I mean by that is there are so many different options for truck buyers out there that it's mind-blowing, not only from engines, but trim levels, appearance packages, and everything else. So let's talk a little bit about GMC. So GMC is General Motors truck company. It's been around since 1909. It was actually a combination of an existing company called Rapid Motors that joined with General Motors to form GMC. And to this day, they are just known for being that branch of General Motors that's really pushing that truck segment. So let's go ahead and dive in to this 2019 GMC Sierra Elevation. So remember, 2019, all Sierras are totally redesigned. I really like with this Elevation what the redesign looks like. It really is super clean having that blacked out package. So with the Elevation, everything is blacked out grille, black painted front and rear bumpers. You're gonna get, now on previous Elevation from 2018, you had HIDs. These are full LEDs, so you have LEDs top and bottom. The fog lights, the turn signals, the headlights, everything is LED. LED is gonna give you a brighter, clearer light compared to the HID. As we go across, like I was telling you, there is that blacked out grille. I just think it looks so clean and so sharp on the front end of this truck, especially with the way the GMC logo, the coloring of the logo just pops. And it really gives it a nice clean appearance. This truck is almost like a street truck because it's two-wheel drive, it's not four-wheel drive. And I really just think that with the blacked out appearance package, it's that ultimate street driving truck. Really like the paint, the plastic section down here, right in between the tow hooks, and just nice that they put some character into this. They could have just went flat and just kept it on a simple basis, but I like the way that they put these teeth marks into the plastic area here. And then as you transition up onto the hood, really think it was smart to have this space here, this gap, because it just gives it more muscle, more aggressive look to a truck. Really think that when it comes to hoods, the GMC Sierra has a great looking hood filled with lots of wonderful body lines, and that's really what helps the GMC truck stand out, because remember, the sister truck to this is going to be the Silverado, which was also redesigned for 2019. As we come to the side, you can see how we went a little bit more rounded with the fenders, but as you go around where this plastic trim is, it's a little bit more angled compared to the Silverado. And that's one thing to remember is that when you're looking at a Sierra compared to the Silverado, a lot of the lines from front to rear are going to be a little bit more on the angle rather than nice and clean. 20-inch wheels, really love the design, gloss black. It just works perfect with the wonderful color of this whole package. And then I'll have Tom go ahead and sneak in there and show you the suspension. Because of the way this truck sits, you can really see that upper control arm, lower control arm, the springs, the whole 9 yards that are sneaking behind the whole wheel assembly. So that's really cool that you're able to see that kind of stuff. There we have our 5.3 liter V8. So remember, with the Sierra, you could go up to 6.2. This one has that 5.3 liter V8. GMC badging in the side. Now, if I'm going to zonk this area, this total black mirror needs to go. Take the Onyx black, spill it onto the mirror instead of having black plastic. You can get optional work lights here, which I kind of think should come standard on the Elevation. But as we transition down the side, great looking badging. I think GMC really does their badging super well, whether it's Denali, whether it's this Elevation. And as we work down the side of the cab, you can see how it's total blacked out. Door handles, the whole 9 yards. Here's where I was telling you about when you get to the back of the cab here, the angles, and then that spoiler right on the back section of that cab with lighting back there and everything. That really helps with giving it some distinction compared to the Silverado. Now, as we wrap it around the back, this one does not have the stepping system for the tailgate. So that's something that you would have to look at a different trim level if you want that new GMC stepping tailgate. Overall, this truck weighs over 200 pounds less than last year's model. And one way that they do it is on swinging material. When we say swinging, we're talking about the doors are aluminum, tailgate is aluminum. When you push the button, well, before I push the button, let's take a look at the tailgate. Really like the design of the tailgate, the way that they put all of the different lines into the body. There's that huge GMC logo, Sierra. And then here's what I was telling you about the front and rear black painted bumpers that's on the Elevation. There's that Elevation logo. And here's another change where they really widen the step to get into the back of the bed, because they know a lot of guys and girls out there have those steel toe boots, and when it was a little bit closer together, it was more of a problem. This one has the tow package on it. I like the way everything, all your hookups are going to be mounted nice and high. That's going to keep it out of the dirt, out of the dust, out of all the nonsense. And then when it's time to drop the tailgate, you just push the button here and a nice soft release right into the bed. Now, let me show you some of the nice things that are happening on this Elevation. You're going to get your full power source right here, and I like the way it's all the way at the rear instead of it being a little bit further in. Tons of assortments of different ways to tie things down. You got 6 in the back, you got the ones up front, and then you could add additional tie down areas to the bed of this truck. Now, if you're wondering, hey, this truck the bed looks a little bit wider than the 2018, you're 100% correct. The way that GMC is now putting the bed together in 3 different sections, it's actually wider. So you have more internal space of this bed than you did on the outgoing model. But let's go ahead, we'll pop the hood, and we're gonna take a look at that 5.3 liter V8. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, hood is popped on this GMC Elevation, that Sierra Elevation trim. There's that engine. I know many of you love your V8s. Well, guess what? When it comes to GMC, that's what you're gonna get. Underneath the hood is that 5.3 liter V8 engine. This one has that dynamic fuel management system. So that's gonna shut down cylinders to help improve those MPGs. If you're wondering, well, what kind of power we're looking at? 355 horsepower. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This truck weighs in right at around 4,693 pounds. MPGs, you're getting 17 in the city, 23 in the highway, and you could tow about 7,000 pounds with this particular truck in the 2-wheel drive format. But nice to see they keep the engine option simple, and they know that the majority of people, they don't want turbocharged, smaller displacement engines. You have that nice big V8. Obviously, when it comes to these big old trucks, you're gonna get those nice hood struts to keep that hood open. And at the end of the day, really what the best part of the V8 is hearing what it sounds like. So let's go ahead and fire her up. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 Elevation. Let's check out what's new for this total redesign. If you're wondering, well, how much does this truck cost? We've already talked about the outside. You're looking at around $46,000 is the MSRP. The Elevation package itself is around 2,500 bucks. So let's go ahead and take a look at the door panels. So door panels, there's a lot of black there, but if you look closely, they did break it up with some faux wood on the door handle. I like the, it's almost like a polished aluminum look that goes around the faux wood, and there's polished aluminum on the actual door handle that opens up the door. Other than that, there's a lot of black plastic, but the good news is at the top of the door, closest to the bottom of the window, that's all soft. Feels really nice. It's got some simulated contrast stitching in there, so that kind of brightens it up a little bit. And the armrests in these things are just massive and they're comfy, so that's a big plus. As we transition, you still have that same soft material on the dash. As we come across, you can see that polished aluminum look around the air vents, which is a nice extra touch. You have, I still can't figure out what you would use it for, but you have actually 2 glove boxes. So if you have pairs of gloves that you love to drive with, well, you could put tons of them in here. You could actually have your next 3 months supply worth of gloves in this. Or maybe if you're a doctor and you do roadside emergencies, you could have your rubber gloves in your rubber glove box. So there you go. As we transition to the infotainment screen, it's a good size. I'm really digging this silver trim, and this is where I'm gonna zonk it. Not on the trim, just why don't they use more of it? There's a lot of dead black space around all of these knobs and switches that this finish is really cool looking, and I really feel like if they would have brought it out a little bit more, or maybe wrap this whole thing in the material, it'd really give it an even more upscale appearance, especially with the Elevation package. Extra charge, add those extra niceties there. But I do like the feel of the controls of everything. You have dual climate, very simple to use, very simple to understand. You could use the infotainment system as well to navigate through that. Another thing that's nice is there's not a bunch of fake buttons. The only fake button up top is right here. This one does not have missile launchers. So if you want that, that's an additional upcharge that you're gonna have to go through the White House with. But if you hit home, you can see how you could easily just swipe through different functions, go back to home. So you could actually use the touch screen, and you could also use the actual buttons to navigate through things. One thing I want to show you, when you go to trailering, you could have a light test. There's all different things, features, because at the end of the day, this is a truck company. And yes, they make SUVs as well, but GMC is really known for a truck company. As we go to the center console, I like the toggle switches up here. Here's where it starts to lose me. I wish there was some type of sliding cover. You see this beautiful material? Wouldn't you agree with me if they had a sliding cover that would cover this up? It's large, so that's a plus. It's just I don't want to look at it if I'm not using it. I want it covered. USB parts, you have your 12 volt, you have your power source, all easily connected to where you can reach it 1, 2, 3. The only thing I don't like about it is just the appearance of it. But hey, this is a truck, so we have to have some utilitarian. Nice shiny chrome around, chrome plastic around the cup holders. And then the armrest is a really good size. It's on the softer side. It's got a place for you. You can put your phone, and then when you open it, pretty good usable space. One thing I like right off the bat is you could go USB connectivity right there as soon as you open up inside. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, I'd rather have a RAM, I'd rather have this, I'd rather have that. Listen, variety is the spice of life, and it's just nice to see that you do have choices. And hey, maybe with the next redesign, GMC will totally upgrade this and it'll be in front of the RAM. We'll have to wait and see. Seats. Not much to look at. They are pretty comfortable. What's cool about the GMCs that I love, especially with this Elevation, is you could actually just have the back portion heated or have the whole seat heated. It would be nice to have ventilated seats, especially with the Elevation package. I like that trim down at the bottom of the lower door sill. And another thing that's really cool about GMC trucks, they come with rubber floor mats. That shows their intention of being more work-oriented rather than anything else. But why don't you come on over behind the wheel here where you're going to be doing your business and see what it's like. Come on over. All right, guys, let's get elevated. You can see 6 feet tall, tons of room inside this cab. The seat, like I said, it's not much to write home about with it looks appearance-wise, but it is a comfortable seat, especially the back portion. Steering wheel, I like the thickness of it. You can see that silver trim. Why did they not use more of it? They used it on the steering wheel, which I like. And I also think it's so cool the way GMC does the horn button. It almost looks like the grill shape on the actual horn button. Another thing I like to see is I'm really digging these thumb wheels that you're seeing more and more in cars to navigate through different information. And speaking of information, let's see what's going to be giving us that. You have an analog tachometer, analog speedometer. I like the way it says GMC in the lower left-hand corner there, and I like the way the gauges are shaped like the grill. All analog across the top, and there's a nice silver trim around it, so that helps with the separation. You could toggle through different features in that info section of that screen, which is also nice to do. and just makes it easier to keep your eyes forward where they should be on the business. If I'm gonna zonk this interior, it's gonna be, I don't like on the Sierras the column shifter. And my main reason why is that it's just plastic and it feels terrible. If every time you get in this truck, you feel nice leather, you feel leather here, and then you touch this and you're like, what is that? It's a little concerning. I would like to see if they took this silver material, put that on the actual shifter. I think that would make a big difference for it. But you can see just how much room there is. Speaking of room, let's go ahead and check out the back seat of this Sierra Elevation. All right, guys, we're in the back seat of this 2019 Elevation. Because it's not that, you know, super cruise size, it's a little tight back here, especially the door opening. Once you get in though, it's got usable space, especially when it comes up top, but I personally would not want to ride back here very, very long. If you have kids or small friends, maybe it'd be a little bit better for them, but you know, leg room is at a minimum, and what I don't like is just how upright the back seat is. It has like no cush to it. It's just it's like a hard piece of styrofoam that you're sitting on. So that's a problem. What I do like though is you have a nice little command center back here. You have dual AC vents, your 2 cup holders. They got you covered with a 12 volt and USB. So that's a really nice feature, but you can see just how far it comes out, and this isn't moving anywhere. But other than that, it's usable space to get to where you're going. You're gonna be driving, right? If you're watching this, you're probably buying this truck, so that'll be your seat. You could put, you know, the people you don't like as much back here. But let's go ahead. If you're ready, I'm ready to take this one for a spin. We're leaving Dick Norris Buick GMC in Palm Harbor. We're in that 2019 Sierra Elevation trim level. And right away, driving these trucks is such a breeze and so smooth and comfortable. With that 5.3 liter V8, you're not gonna have to worry about any turbos spooling up or anything like that. You get instant torque from that engine, made it to the 8-speed automatic transmission. And even though this truck weighs almost a tick under 4,700 pounds, it feels very light on its feet. So let me go ahead and get on the loud pedal. Drops down, very smooth, very nice. You know, with other manufacturers having a plethora of different transmission choices, this one with the 8-speed, it makes sense. And at the end of the day, you're going to have that cylinder deactivation, that dynamic cylinder deactivation, which is going to help you on the MPGs. Because what I like about this truck is not only the way it looks, especially in that, like we said, that whole blacked out appearance look, but it's just a good street driving truck. It doesn't ride harsh, but it also isn't floaty as well, which is great. And with these Sierras, visibility out the front, out the back, it's really a breeze. When it comes to controls, I like the way they're laid out. Now, could we do some work on a redesign? Sure. Can we add a couple extra features that maybe some other brands have when it comes to, you know, the way things appear in the inside of the truck? Sure, but at the end of the day, everything is placed perfectly in this truck. Especially one of my favorite things is the gauge layout. It makes sense. When you look down, if you need to take a look at temperatures and whatnot, you look down, it's real easy to find, and then you move on with your life, which is really, really nice. But I just love the visibility, and the way that it rides is a great thing. And like we were talking about earlier, when it comes to trucks, especially with GMC, you have so many different ways you could take your Sierra and add options to it and have a totally different truck than someone that's living right next door to you. You could take it all the way to the max to Denali, or hey, if you want something that's a little bit more of a street style truck, this Elevation I think is a great choice, especially MSRP $46,000. Remember, those mid-sized trucks are creeping up into that price range, especially when you get them with options. And here you have a full-size truck, nicely appointed, and you're still gonna get a great value for it. So, and that GMC name, I mean, GMC, it's been around since 1909, so can't fault them for that, that's for sure. One thing you'll notice is how quiet the cabin is. Very, very good when it comes to the sound deadening that they're using. And just, you know, like I said, when it comes to, hey, if you need a truck that's flexible, definitely a Sierra will be able to fit the bill for you without any issues. I think one of my favorite things about this truck is how you sit in the seat. I like the back portion of the seat. It really allows your upper back and middle back to almost be cradled in a way, to where we've sat in other trucks that maybe have quote unquote a fancier seat, but they're more uncomfortable. So, you know, figure that one out. Brakes work great. You can see we're in some morning traffic here. People are trying to figure out what they're doing. But if you need to get out of somebody's way, it gets up and goes. You tilt it in, handles really well. Going up this incline, that 5.3 liter, if you think it's breaking a sweat, no, that's not happening. 355 horsepower, getting up that hill, no problem, and it's super smooth. That's the best part of it at the end of the day. Too bad it's not nighttime right now, because we'd be able to show off that full LED lighting. Remember, LED headlights and fog lights. That is something different from the HIDs on the 2018 model. But I think another thing that I like is the way that I like to position my arms and upper body in a vehicle. I like the way the materials are soft. Top of the door, they did a perfect job of putting some softer material up there, where other manufacturers just leave that harder plastic, which at the end of the day, it's just, not only does it feel annoying on your elbow, but you know, for this type of level of truck, it needs to have some softer materials. All right, guys, another thing that is wonderful about this truck is just how easy it is. We're doing 60 miles an hour. It's nice and smooth, and you know, I don't feel like I'm in a truck. I really don't. I feel very comfortable and just really easy to maneuver this truck. In a way, I'm gonna say that it's riding a little bit nicer than some of the other brands that I've been in overall. So that's a nice thing, especially even with the 20-inch wheels, which sometimes, you know, you go with a larger wheel, the ride quality decreases on you. And with this truck, I think it's a sweet spot, instead of going something with like a 22-inch wheel. But sitting here at this light, let's talk about the infotainment. Graphics are clear. Font, I love the font that they use. I think what we're eventually going to see is these screens are going to keep getting larger, like you're already seeing on some other products. But for overall size for this particular truck, it really works great. And I like the way that you could use the screen, or you could just hit the home button right here and it takes you right back, which is really nice as well. All right, guys, let me go ahead and do another acceleration for you. So smooth. And that's another thing is that obviously with a 5.3 liter V8, you're not going to get any buzzy sound coming from that engine, and it definitely has plenty of torque that you're going to be able to get out of your own way, but you could also tow with this truck very comfortably as well, which is a nice thing to have. It makes it very versatile. You could drive this truck as your daily, even if you're never going to tow anything, or if you go out and your wife finally allowed you to get that boat, then you could tow your boat with no problem and have a good time, and you could go out fishing. So it really does everything really, really well. I think, like I said, going back to my biggest zonk on the interior is the center console area. I would like to see some type of lid over this larger open area. It's nice that it's open and it's functional, but if I'm not using it, I don't want to see it. I would like to have a nice finished cover. But other than that, they really did a good job on this GMC Sierra. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up and get back to Dick Norris Buick GMC. So we'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful day here at Dick Norris Buick GMC. Definitely got to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Adam Norris and the whole Norris family for opening up their doors and giving Rady's Rides full access. Variety is the spice of life. You got so many different ways to choose and trim out this GMC Sierra. So if these are the types of trucks that you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. If you are new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. We really appreciate you. Definitely want to check out my different forms of social media. You know what they are. It's all Rady's Rides original content all the time. If you want some merch, click that link in the description, takes you right to Spreadshirt. And then finally, we can't forget the man with the plan, with the hands on that camera, getting every angle of the Sierra, even though it's not his favorite color. So Tom, thank you for all your hard work. Wish him luck in his next powerlifting competition. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.